As somebody who's been collecting fragrances for a long time, you bet I have some affordable Middle Eastern fragrances, but I also have a huge soft spot in my heart for niche fragrances. Now, don't let the word niche scare you, because niche doesn't always necessarily have to mean expensive. There are plenty of Middle Eastern niche fragrance houses and fragrances out there that are very original, and they just smell absolutely incredible and really do give a lot of the other designer and regular Middle Eastern fragrances a run for the money. And today we're going to be checking out 3 fragrances that were sent over by Hekayat Attar. So these fragrances really did catch me by surprise, and I can't believe the price on these. So we got 2 extrait de parfum fragrances and an attar that you apply to your wrists and your pulse points. So stick around, make yourself comfortable, and let's jump right in. How's it going, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me today. And I gotta say, this video is really cool because I've been so excited to review these fragrances. These fragrances are extrait de parfum. They are 100 ml, 3.4 ounce bottles, and you can actually get them for $35 and even save 10% if you use the code COMMONSCENTS. So really an extrait de parfum for under $35, especially with that 10% off code. These are some true hidden gems. First up, we're taking a look at Wild Amber. Now this fragrance has a nice textured feel to it. It almost feels like it's raised, it's embossed, and you also have the details on the back. And on the back, it actually says that it was manufactured in January of 2024 and expires January 2029. Let's check out the presentation. Totally off topic, but this gradient and color scheme definitely reminds me of the Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit de l'Homme, but it is not based off of that fragrance. It doesn't smell anything like that. Again, these fragrances have very tall 100 ml bottles, and the caps are pretty good quality. They're plastic, and the atomizer is really what's special in this. Take a look at this. A nice pressurized atomizer that displays a huge blast of fragrance. Ooh, this one is immediately reminding me of a couple different fragrances kind of blended into one, but I promise it's deceptive because the dry down smells even more amazing. So Hekayat Amber is going to be very floral and fruity, especially in the opening, and I believe there's some bergamot, orange, and jasmine in the opening, but honestly, it just smells so refreshing. It's fruity, it's unisex, a little bit feminine leaning, but it's kind of reminding me of a cross between Tiziano Terenzi's Kirke and Herbe Pura, also with some elements of Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge 540. Now, I myself do not like Baccarat Rouge 540. I know it's controversial. A lot of people like that fragrance, but to me, it's just sickeningly sweet, and I've smelled too many people out and about in the public with really terrible clones or awful versions of that fragrance that are synthetic and headache-inducing, and this is not like that. This takes the really interesting, fruity, kind of musky accords from the Herbe Pura, and it also combines it with a nice sponge sugar and a little bit of some saffron and amber. And I actually have been wearing this one to the office and just out and about when I'm doing my errands and stuff, and it just smells incredible. It's got a little bit of a bubblegummy sweetness, but really it's just amber and musky, and it just smells so uplifting, very fruity, aquatic, and it is perfect for this summer heat. I actually do like how this starts to smell once it dries down, because you lose a little bit of that fruitiness and it instead turns a little bit more creamy, a little bit more silky, and it has some of that amber and the musk in there still, but some of that saffron does stick around a little bit and it gets slightly darker, so it's not going to be as bright as the original kind of opening, but yeah, that smells similar to Baccarat Rouge without smelling just like Baccarat Rouge. It's like a step up. Not to mention this stuff performs fantastic. The longevity is amazing. It's about 12 hours on my skin, and it is a constant cloud and bubble around me, and I've sprayed this fragrance as well as the next one on myself. I just did like 2 sprays. It literally went through the entire house, and you could still smell it as you walk in the door. This one honestly smells like it is much more expensive, and I can't believe it is $35. That's crazy. And that one is Wild Amber. Next up, we're looking at Hekayat Amiri Oud, and this one is going to be perfect for if you love patchouli, incensey oud fragrances. So Middle Eastern oud lovers, this is going to be for you. Oh, look at that bottle. Now this one, immediately when you spray it, you are going to get a heavy blast of agarwood in this. So it's going to smell a little bit resinous, definitely woody. It's going to smell very earthy, especially from the patchouli. And as this settles down, it definitely gets smoother, and about an hour or so into it, it really starts to smell like magic. Yeah, right off the top, it's a very earthy agarwood that almost has a petrichor vibe to it. So it smells like dirt, it smells like wood, and it just smells very resinous and smoky. It's very similar to a lot of the Middle Eastern synthetic oud, but as it dries down and as it settles down on the skin, the amber, the leather, and the vetiver come out, and it smells very smooth and just very silky and luxurious. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what this fragrance is inspired by, if it's a clone or a twist on anything. I feel like with Wild Amber, I could pick up some inspirations from those other two fragrances, but this one, I'm not entirely sure. It just smells very rich and it just smells good. But oh my gosh, once this stuff dries down, it just takes on a little bit of a baked wheat-like accord, so it smells like a nice fresh baked gourmand. It's very comforting, it's warm, and it feels like it's hugging you. And you have this beautiful silky trail that follows you whenever you walk around, so you are gonna have people smelling you when you walk by them when you're wearing this. The incense takes on a creamy smoke, so it's not gonna be like a burnt, ugly, smoky vibe. It's gonna be very smooth, especially with that kind of chocolatey, earthy patchouli, and really words can't describe how much I love this one, especially in the dry down. So with this one, if you spray yourself and immediately leave the house, you're gonna be smelling super strong, like that agarwood, that oud. It's very strong, it's very Middle Eastern smelling, and once the cedar, vetiver, and amber really do come out in the dry down, it definitely helps it mellow out, and you're gonna smell incredible. Yeah, just a really sweet, musky, buttered croissant vibe that almost makes me want to eat this stuff. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It almost reminds me of a flaky baked good of some sort, mixed with some beautiful leather, some amber, and also some agarwood. So it's really cool because it's animalistic and oudi, but it's also very delicate and gourmand at the same time. It's a strange duality. Love, love, love this stuff. And that one is Hekayat Attar's Amiri Oud. Last but not least, we're actually taking a look at an attar fragrance. And so for those of you who don't know about attars, they are basically pure concentrated fragrance oil, and they come in these really, really cool fragrance bottles. They're these little miniature bottles. So you really just have a very small but potent pure fragrance oil that is really satisfying to apply. We're actually gonna apply some right now. You basically just unscrew this and you have this little dipper wand, and you just apply a little bit on your wrist or your pulse points. Give it a tiny little dab. Don't rub it together because that destroys the aroma molecules, and you don't want to do that. So let's give this a smell. Oh, that is actually reminding me a lot of one of my favorite musk fragrances from the House of the Attar collection. It reminds me a lot of Musk Cashmere because this one is Attar Silk Musk. And this one definitely has some musky, silky, just really creamy, sweet notes in here, but it's not overly sweet that it's going to be sickening, and it's not going to give you a headache. This is a slightly peppery, sandalwood, woody, musky fragrance. It's interesting because on the website, it does say that it includes rose in there, but it is just a hint of rose. It's just a nice, creamy floral in there that reminds me of the white florals that you find in the Musk Cashmere by Attar collection. I've actually been collecting a lot of Attars, and I love the way that this bottle looks. It's clear on all sides, and you have a little bit of the gold accents along the edges, and it just looks really cool. This is going to be a little bit more of a subtle fragrance unless you apply a little bit more to like the points behind your ears or maybe your neck and some other pulse points, but at least on my skin, I get a little bit more of a subtle projection, but it still lasts a really long time. On my skin, I get about 10 hours, and so that's pretty good, especially for one little swipe on it. Yeah, this is crazy. I haven't worn it today, but I have worn it this week, and even on this tester strip, it still smells just as strong as when I applied it to this probably 5 or 6 hours ago, so it's still going really strong. So again, if you want a nice, slightly soapy yet sweet, musky floral fragrance that's going to be very delicate and perfect for anybody who just wants to smell refined, expensive smelling, then this is going to be it. And that one is Hekayat Attar Silk Musk. So there you have it, 3 brand new fragrances from the house of Hekayat Attar. These 2 right here are by far some of my favorite fragrances I've been wearing recently, and again, $35, and you can even save more money by using the COMMONSCENTS discount code. But again, I think these are super slept on, they are brand new to the market, and these are really, really good for your money. And if you're on the hunt for an Attar that's very clean, musky, and creamy with a little bit of fruitiness that's very similar to the Musk Cashmere, then this is going to be a perfect alternative for about the $20 mark. So let me know down below if you've tried any of these fragrances or if you have any other ones that sound similar to these, because I'd love to compare them. Yeah, I hope you stay safe out there. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Eli with Common Sense. Until the next time, bye-bye. Oh, you could totally layer these. In fact, I did this week. I tried one on both arms and I could smell it wafting up all week.